Regardless of all the engineered accuracy advantages designed into a rifle, the human variable introduced by the shooter is a key factor in the accuracy equation. A crisp, clean, light trigger pull minimizes the negative impact that a shooter can have on accuracy. However, light trigger pulls are restricted by safety concerns with traditional trigger designs. Too light a trigger pull setting introduces the risk of accidental discharge through dropping or jarring. The AccuTrigger is the first factory trigger designed to have minimal sear engagement for a light and crisp trigger while maintaining a margin of safety. You can see where the sear engages the small notch in the trigger. The AccuTrigger maximizes its dual purpose, safe and accurate, with the integrated AccuRelease. As you can see, the top portion of the AccuRelease is in the way of the sear. If the gun were dropped or jarred hard enough that the sear was released from the notch, it would be stopped by the AccuRelease, preventing the rifle from being fired. The AccuRelease must be completely depressed for the rifle to fire. The Savage AccuTrigger gives the shooter the flexibility to set trigger pull to individual preference without sacrificing safety or having to pay a gunsmith to do it. Traditionally, an action is secured by one or two screws that pull the action directly downward into the stock. In order to achieve a higher degree of stability and consistency, custom gunsmiths will reinforce these anchor points with fiberglass. This bedding method provides a custom fit and increased rigidity on a single linear plane up and down. The Savage AccuStock consists of a rigid rail system that is permanently embedded in the stock throughout the length of the forend of the rifle. Rather than unidirectionally engaging the action at one or two points, the AccuStock engages the action three-dimensionally along its entire length. As the action screws are tightened, the action is wedged between the sides of the bedding cradle. Action screws apply vertical pressure while the pre-stressed side rails apply horizontal pressure. The rifle's recoil lug fits snugly in a close tolerance slot in the aluminum rail. This secures the action fore and aft within the stock, providing a third dimension of stability to the bedding system. The result is a perfect union between the action and bedding rail that is impervious to changes in the stock, such as heat and humidity. The rifle bolt has a twofold job to perform. The two locking lugs need to bear evenly and equally in the recess of the receiver, and the bolt face needs to have full contact with the entire face of the cartridge. Unlike other rifles that have a long, solid bolt, Savage's innovative bolt head is actually a separate piece, allowing for a minute amount of float. This allows for 100% engagement of both lugs to occur. Custom gunsmiths work painstakingly to square a bolt to its action to create this perfect union. Savage's unique floating bolt head is able to create this perfect union and maintain it through the vibration and oscillation that occurs during a complete cycle of firing a rifle. All this attention to detail and accuracy in a production rifle. The distance from the face of the closed bolt of a firearm to the surface of the barrel chamber on which the cartridge seats is called headspace. Setting a range of tolerance for headspace, even a few thousandths of an inch of extra headspace, can hurt accuracy. If the cartridge is allowed to move forward and aft or even at an angle, accuracy will be compromised from shot to shot. Savage's commitment to both safety and accuracy has led them to remarkable innovations for barrel assembly. There are three elements for controlling headspace: the lock nut, which locks the receiver, and the barrel, where the round is chambered. Rather than working to fall within an acceptable range, Savage's unique design lets them set headspace on each individual rifle exactly to minimum with zero tolerance. The three elements mentioned are assembled by placing a minimum headspace gauge in the chamber, and the bolt is closed and locked in the receiver. The receiver and barrel are then threaded together until they stop. At this point, the headspace is perfect. The lock nut is then tightened against the receiver, securing the recoil lug in between. Perfect headspace for a tighter chamber means greater accuracy. The most important aspect in the accuracy of a barrel is its geometric consistency. To be a true tube, the barrel must have consistent bore diameter from end to end. Because minute inconsistencies make a big difference and hurt accuracy, Savage has mastered the button rifling method to barrel making. All Savage barrels are built to have consistent bore diameters and consistent rates of twist from end to end. A Savage rifle with uniform walls will not only have better initial accuracy, but it is less likely to walk the point of impact as it begins to heat up. Every Savage barrel is inspected and hand-straightened to prevent a single barrel from leaving the factory that does not provide an absolute optimum barrel for accuracy. Savage barrels are so remarkably consistent, several other firearms manufacturers have asked to use Savage barrels for their rifles.